Amen. Amen. On behalf of the Minister of Information and Civic Education and the team at the ministry, I want to formally welcome everyone. But there, with the permission of the minister, we agreed that all our press conferences are going to be conducted in Creole. So, I want to welcome everybody. And the easy way to make we decide strategically say we want for conduct we press conference by Creole. Now for make we ensure say now going forward every means of way government they communicate to with people them, except in extreme circumstances where we get to deal with people and sometimes when they understand or a real Creole, we want to make sure say we do them in a language where every sierraleonean go to understand and know what the government say and what the government they do. Now I make the new minister and me and the team don't decide say press conference now one important platform where government they inform citizens them of what the government they do and what they happen inside government. So now I make this when our first press conference we don't say make we conduct and Creole. Like I start, I want to welcome all we party them when a journalist we can attend today. And the reason why to make we start sharp 2 now because me and the minister don't decide say we get for do government business and government work with time consciousness. That means say well say 2 na 2 o'clock. Because I know say but people before you can you say don't get different arrangement and say where you get to go. And you don't want make government be burden on you. So government will can hold you now for time where you don't necessarily for being here. So now I make as part of the first change we start on time. Today we get big people in where we don't invite for can talk to we on many things then. And then people and they will get it with today. I will start for introduce or present owner because we are Sabuna CDS. But you know going to introduce the Chief of Defense Staff Brigade Citizens them. We are Lieutenant General Patrick Lapau. We are the Chief of Defense Staff for the Republic of Sierra Leone. We are not clap for the CDS. Now the CDS, the immediate right, we also get the person when I there on top, the policeman, they all in the country, where they call the Inspector General of Police, when Inspector General Fire Cell, where we all sabi. We are not clap for ourselves. This platform also, we have this press conference. Me and the minister and the team don't decide say, we not just get to get people away, like government people away, therefore they can give you information. But also as part of the civic engagement, for now the gap between government and the citizens them, we also can use them as platform who say people living as civil society, if they want pass message to citizens them, we create for the opportunity for them also come and be part of this press conference so they make weekly. So today for the very first time we get the national president for Women's Forum Salon, when Madam Sally Adams Day part of this press conference. We also expect we Minister of Finance when Sheku Fantamadi for David Tweed. Because I know say people go and know about how the economy they do and how the budget, supplementary budget where we don't be waiting a government in plan for taking forward. But why should we also get the Deputy Minister of Finance one, with a strong woman, with a Madam Jennifer we deal with three for this press conference. Madam Geneva, Madam Geneva Bangura, we deal with three. Now, me work done. The deputy minister. I will hand over now to the minister who now we host for this press conference. We now my brother, Mr. Chino Ba, who now the Minister for Information and Civic Education for take the program forward. Mr. Minister.
All right, thank you. Honorable Deputy Minister Yusuf Keke Thomas Nandi. Family Mukuna co-share and we want to tell you all plenty thank you again for una come. I want to start by laying the foundation for the members of the fourth estates, the press. I want to say this is our first official engagement with the press. And I want to make it clear, we will get follow-up proper conversations there with the Sierra Leone Association of Journalists, the Editors Guild. We brother and sister them as well, we are bloggers across the country. We look forward to a fruitful, productive relationship with the media. We consider UNA as an important partner, as allies for advance, not just credible factual information, but also the civic education space as alone. So this is not just the beginning. This is our first engagement, and me and Minister Sandy Binde say this morning that in fact, today now only about we fifth official working day, and this now we first full week. So, but putting and they will let for see change. We will go engage with now on. We won't forget feedback at the end of this. There will be another barcode with the ask for giving feedback on how we do, what we do for make this better. Some people go and ask why we not in our Ministry of Information today, because me myself when a minister and a very young, na 8th floor, we go there and elevator all day. So we understand say that they already an accessibility issue. We come up from that whole day where they think about, okay, is there a place where we do this press conference? It will be easier for them to have access. So the foundation of how they think, now how we will work together with them. Already today we want to make sure so we occupy the front seats them. We want to understand say now this press conference before. Any question we get, any engagement we get, we want follow-up questions, we will make available them principal here to una. In exchange, we ask for me una self live by una own ethics and una own code the una own set. That we present factual information to the public, that we observe the integrity, that we follow the IMC code, the owner don't join we as well as the government set. So for a start, we really look forward for get a productive relationship with UNA. I just want to reiterate with Minister Sandy that there is an intentionality behind who they decide for communicating Creole. I know say some people don't have for struggle small. It don't mean say we don't ban English, we combine, we will do English as well. But primarily, we know say some of the carry this live. People in 1 year and then think they will go for talk about now press conference. And important is think the way people they want to know about Nasalo. So we don't want to get to talk, some people in the past will translate for them. So English and Creole seem for being at the language where most people they understand. So we do that means some minister then maybe they will speak small by English because of terminology we then go mix. But I want to take the opportunity for welcome my colleague and senior brother, we are minister for all the money business in this country, the finance minister. We just don't join with our Dr. Sheku Fansamaki. We don't give doctor title, but the minister, Mr. Bangura. Thank you so much. And so, one more thing about the structure of this. First, we go around and I will ask the respective principals and will give them primary information where they can share with us. When they don't give them opening interventions then, we will open for get a structured question and answer session We will ask for ask questions, make comments. This is an interaction. We want to get a substantive conversation. Now, not all man will get for able for points to for talk. You will get smartphone. You can turn around to that screen there and use that code there on the screen and ask a question. It will come immediately. Now we have other people already check them question in there. And una within the room, we also take certificate. You vote for a question to make sure say power for answer that question if somebody don't ask a question. So in case you don't get access to the mic, or whilst the speaker they talk, because not to ask the talk and open for question, we allow everybody for talk first, then I open for question. Whilst they talk, if you don't forget your question, you can use that platform there as well for ask for immediately put your question in. So I will don't know and I will prep as well for let you able for answer the question we don't put forward. Going forward, we also don't move the press conference to Tuesday. In order for that Thursday. Now we plan scam, Friday, and every Thursday we do the press conference. We try for institutionalize this Tuesday now. Because it's a bit early in the week, we believe say we get a better chance for let the news make the newspaper. They hold it Thursday, Friday. If you late, you not publish. Some man they even work Friday, you know they get right. So one let government information be part of the conversation for the week. We therefore they make sure say each press conference cover specific things then. One, and very important, that whatever cabinet and major decisions then will not happen towards the end of that week, the whole can't Tuesday, we start with that. And that day we focus particularly on the big five. So if we get, like today we hope say we brought the chief minister, but he extending apologies, go there for set the scene for we. So each press conference we will get a principle from one of them big picture in there. Second, or if somebody not there, obviously my main job that day between me and the deputy and members of the ministry for lead on that part. But each press conference will also focus on some socio-economic issue. So the economy, where the bottom and some people like Hokola. And today we get the highest person in the country. We can talk about that when we Minister of Finance. That is important. As necessary, we also therefore focus on security issues. So as a thematic area for press conference and conversation, we want to provide updates on the state security issue, any new information and we therefore partner with security apparatus for let them use this platform as well, for let them communicate generally to the people of this country. And then, like how the minister say, because we get a civic engagement and civic education portfolio, we don't want to let this, because it's a big platform, so we can carry our lives and all there, we want to also be a platform where we interact with civil society. Some civil, social justice issue there, where burning, where newsworthy. Sometimes might not even be things that we necessarily fully agree with, but an opportunity for us to get a conversation and a discussion. We commit to and say we make this platform as well open for the civil society and with other partners in the civic engagement world for let them come and share any updates we get. That is the framework. Now, it's a pleasure for call the first speaker, we distinguished Honorable Minister for Money Business, for Finance, for let he talk to them and open on which are the updates them from the Ministry of the Economy. We know say we just don't present a supplementary budget. Any additional information or clarification you set the scene, and like I say, you hold on to your question. You either use the app now and write some in, or you hold on when they all non presents done, we will open up for questions. And I thank you, Honorable Minister.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Minister of Information and Civic Education. And family on afternoon. I'm glad for the house now. And when I know say we don't engage on the economy. I mean, just a few minutes where I take both, I go deliver the supplementary budget. Of course, you ask you why we do that, because we just don't pass budget last year, December. We're coming to make sure, say by the 1st of January, begin to spend on the resources that we generate for the government. But we notice 6 months into the year, but putting in the way happen, we make them budget appropriation we Parliament will pass. Most of the assumptions that will underpin them, there are also assumptions that they don't shift. So we make sure, say, some of the allocations that will be done program for the MDAs, then certainly will be required for revise them. Secondly, the what we call macro framework, meaning all the potential for revenue expenditures and the things that really drive growth. Most of them development and they don't shift because of some of the development that will take place outside of Sierra Leone. For example, the persistence of war in Ukraine, the supply chain challenges, but also as well some of the disruptions in terms of rising price of petroleum and essential commodities. We don't growth projections, or we don't make for the economy. We therefore revise them somewhat to face the reality. And also make sure say the rise in those prices of goods and services, even with projections on servicing our debt, but also funding for emissions and some of the MDAs, then we therefore make sure say we revise them. As well, the new development that we manifesto the new government and the pronouncement that the government with the president make on new MDAs, this one with the MICE, but also technology, infrastructure, initiative on climate change, food security, and the like. Those ones and sustainable energy will be there for make sure so we're able to account and factor for them and then begin for work. As well, this country in 2022 faced some serious shock. The way we end up the year, we end up with very huge deficits. So we got to begin to think how we consolidate the economy itself and public finances and make sure that we stabilize for foster growth going forward. So that will be the underpinning of the supplementary budget. That's why we went back. And with the big dynamics then. One, when I noticed say in the course of the year in April, we introduced the Finance Act because nobody introduced Finance Act at the last budget statement. But we see the need in the course of the year for introduce Finance Act. In the Finance Act, they introduced some new tax measures. And then tax measures, they border on closing loopholes, some of the tax handles, especially corporate tax. We decided to introduce minimum alternate taxation. Because before now, what thing that happened is that we companies them, we get the liberty for declare losses and not pay profits, corporate taxes at all. This will affect a lot of them for predicting when we get from this tax handle. So we introduce a minimum tax. What the minimum tax they tell you is that you really need to fully declare your overall operations of your books or as a company. And if you really don't make profit, will they say that you pay minimum tax? Well, if you make profit, will they assess you on the real profitability that you make, and then you pay the tax accordingly? So, but just for discourage some of the loopholes, then what we do is we revise with GST as well. The GST, the goods and service tax, we get a lot of exemptions. Why we get an exemption? The exemption we're not supposed to really be given at all. But what we do, we protect the poor people, and then we introduce that aspect and they will not be originally captured. And so that aspect and they will be noticed, say, NRA will not be new institution. NRA at the time when they introduce them, not be able for building capacity for able to do an assessment of certain category of GST taxes, where we try to make sure we introduce. But in the same vein, we give waivers for many of the items that will not say they affect poor people, rice and the like, So that's not the kind balance hold though. Several other areas of taxation where we introduce measures on, government with excise tax, for example, where they call sin tax, tax on tobacco products, sugar products, alcohol and the like, where we believe is supposed to be a workhorse as well for taxation, where we revise that tax, but also on petroleum products, we revise those taxes relatively upwards, slightly, basically for really manage the externalities of people consuming those goods and making sure that we harmonize the taxes, but not only that, increase some of the uptake on them for make sure say we will predict. Some of the aspects of the reforms that we introduced are reforms the way they enhance the technology of NRA for make sure say they become more efficient in collecting taxes. So on excise, for example, we introduced track and trace systems, both for accessible commodities, but also we introduced something called fair marking system for petroleum products, following for assess we tax holiday for petroleum products into the country. Several other small areas, and they will introduce tax measures. Really, all our effort they introduce an average of additional 2.2% of GDP increased revenue we're supposed to collect in the course of the year. So that's new money, right? Then we get new money beyond the one way that we approved in December. And then we introduce the GIWI SDR allocation of about $1 billion from the IMF. These are additional money into the budget. Will not be there originally, right? And then so when you get a new money here, plus also you get expenditure measures the way you get for take. Well, you make sure say you reduce some of the otherwise big spending on infrastructure and make sure say you rationalize the budget. Now, when you do that, the budget framework change. Plus also with this new money that we'll get, and then new ministries that we will introduce, and all that say you really need to go back and go seek legal appropriation for expending new money at the government. So that's what's the underpinning. Now, all of this, I think, is important for a lot of people to understand. But what we decide to do is, we then change this year, and in 2022, we don't get a very, because of the impact that I don't talk about, the deficit was so high, close to about 10% of GDP. Which will do the adjustment here, efforts at raising revenues, but also these new resources that will come and the discipline we introduce in the tax, in the expenditure management system, we expect that at the end of this year, we could not shrink or consolidate the budget for just about 5.4% of GDP. So that process of budget deficit relative to gross domestic product, we will reduce them to 5.4%. Now, this is what we call fiscal consolidation, meaning we take effort them, raise revenue, become more disciplined, ease up the pressure we get on both debt service but also expenditures, and make sure so we budget rationalize. Why is this important? When we get too much high budget deficit, the way you finance them, they put pressure on the central bank, right? By the way you finance the budget, put pressure on the central bank. Central bank will be forced to do high-powered lending to we, right? We then do high-powered lending. It introduce more supply of money to the economy. It affects inflation. It affects even the value of the currency. So we try to take a posture of ensuring that we instill fiscal discipline. That fiscal discipline, they ease the pressure on the central bank in the way they manage the economy and try to instill what we call macroeconomic stability. So that's the underpinning. But as it is going forward, with the project, say, in the course of the year, even when we get moderate growth because of all the development that will not take place, and if we do fiscal consolidation efforts, what we do right now, we expect say by next year, in terms of outlook, this country will begin to grow at a reasonable level, close to about 4.78% of GDP, even more bigger than that in 2024. So as we're going right now, the posture we'll get, we don't begin we send out when they call budgets called circular. When I begin the budget preparation process, we will involve all ministries, departments, and agencies of the government on the back of the new framework what we get right now, backed by some of these tax measures, but also the posture we will take around managing expenditures, and engage with the general public for write the new budget for next year. So that process doesn't really start. But in the course of the year, what did we do when we get all the difficulties here when the people that they face? We try to ensure that, say, goods and services are available in the country. We don't get any shortages in the country. Definitely, fuel is there in the country. Rice available. We have never had shortages. What we may be grappling with are the prices internationally. Okay, and I'm open to discuss those issues. And the reason why we have adjusted petroleum pricing in the country is because of the pressure it has on the budget. It is very expensive because we are importing oil. And international price of oil and the currency value has been very high. It's been dropping and depreciating. So we need to be doing the relevant adjustment for ease the pressure on the budget because we are subsidizing. But what we have done as a government, not only subsidize and fully pass through that cost of people. We not say it's not easy for people on the budget. So slowly we will adjust until such time when we will pass through fully. However, there are several other measures we will take for making sure we assuage the cost on the vulnerable people of these issues, of these rising prices on essential goods. We do safety net. We do cash for work. We do resources for youths and women. We get Munafa that the women have access to. We aim for support close to about 10,889 beneficiaries. 75% of those are women. We have a lot of programs that are targeted at youths. That's how we've been trying to manage the effects of all of these things in the course of the year. That posture will not change. The only thing is that even on the current budget, what we have done is to recalibrate the budget to begin to look at these big fives, where the president will not make pronouncements for fees and on. So they even give farmers an input subsidies, where they call truly e-voucher system for seedlings, fertilizer, but also access to machines for farm in the course of the year. Whilst we still do investment on education, school feeding, exam fees, all these things are actually being done for them, for ease of the pressure of the current macro dynamics on families who are also very poor. I think I can left hand there for now, and then I'll open up for, I'm available for any questions you want to ask. Thank you very much.
Well, all right. One to tell the Honorable Minister plenty thank you. For family in the house, I think you don't hear say, your government, they work. We live in a period where crisis there across the world, but the government of Salone through the Ministry of Finance don't take specific steps there for stabilize the economy and improve the situation in the country. One of them steps that we don't take, we mentioned, and that with these budgets, and they try for let government raise more money because they lost money because people they balance the tax code. And in addition to that, we don't get additional resources as well from the IMF. And this new budget, they don't put that additional resources, they don't seek Parliament's their approval for how they for spend them, including for continue for support young people, women, the poor across the country, as well as for focus on President Bio in big 5 priorities that we don't lay out for a second term. So we tell the minister plenty thank you. Another highlight where I think so for remember is in the midst of all these global challenges that we get and the economic challenges that the world, by the way, all across the world they face. Now that they don't manage the economy, the government of Salone don't manage the economy well enough for ensure say nobody need to line for rest as Salone. Fuel always is. So goods and services they're available. We deal with price issues, but even that we do it in a structured and systematic way. And there is clarity, like, and the economy is stable. So one for telling us plenty thanking, and I hope say we in the media, including, for example, the editors and other people then will take their message here and an indication say for come to this press conference because we will make sure say the information will be substantive. Now we will switch quickly and we turn to the security sector. We get with the Inspector General of Police for the country. And I know say Boku news don't day over the past few days, and people then get specific questions then we then get about what's the state of the security. Before we IGP talk, I want to acknowledge the presence of the brother in the press secretary for His Excellency the President, the primary spokesperson. I also say they are for not only lend and support, but as well at some point to get a specific question for him. A man who I know say always ready. So Mr. Solomon Jamiu KSQ, we tell you thank you for joining. IG Fire Selu, the body and the concern. I think we can pass this one to
well, afternoon. glad to be part of this maiden press briefing by the new minister and the team. Generally, I want to say the general security situation across the country is calm and quiet. Not calm and quiet, we lose all this by this step. We're all for the war, but it's not like that. I want to talk on two issues. The first one, the subversion, who will investigate, Sierra Police. Then the second one, therefore, be this helicopter where come down Ashore around our Waterloo access. We don't come out with so many theories. I don't know that sound engineering. Also looking at let's start with the first one. Monday, the 31st of July, we informed the general public say the security sector will follow a lead where they point towards some people there, where the activities then amount to bring to scarce as a country, for can destroy property, for can destroy life, and at the end of the day, for can change government where they just don't elect. So in pursuit of that, we as police, we institute investigations into that. But of course, during the investigation, we don't do a number of arrests. And the arrest is predicated on the evidence. So as at the talk so now, we get now custody 8 mid-level Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces officers. Where I say mid-level, it range from lieutenant to major. We're 8. We get 6 non-commissioned officers of the house staff also, NCOs from private to sergeant, that category. Then we get 2 serving members of the Sierra Leone Police, 1 sub-inspector and 1 police constable. Then we get also, as recently as this morning, 1 retired chief superintendent of police inside in our custody for this investigation. Alongside all them, we also get 2 civilians with themselves to help with for this investigation. As we investigate, we find out say we still not put out a manhunt for a couple of people more, and that they include 5 house staff personnel. Out of that 5, 2 are mid-level officers, then 3 are non-commissioned officers. Then on the police side, we look for 3 Sierra Leone police personnel, 1 sub-inspector and 2 police constables. In the face of all this, as security sector, we want to assure the public say we are fully in control, we are fully in charge, and we are running things. We don't do a couple of things. We don't beef up the border security post them, the border patrols, we don't beef them up, we don't increase them by a huge margin. Constantly we got joint patrols, the military and the police along the borders, we don't do that. Then of course, the posture across the board, across the country, we don't change the posture because of what you will look at. We don't have to be taken off guard, so we don't change the posture, we don't do that. Additionally, we don't step up the intelligence collection output. We don't deploy a lot of assets out there, not only policemen them, but even civilians who don't bring them on board for provide me with the intelligence. So we have to assure members of the public say, let them remain calm, let them go about the normal business, but with the advice say, if you see something, say something. If you see anything with suspicious in a community, report it. If you see anything where it not satisfy you, report it to we so that we go for act on it. Once you don't say, it not concern me, so not to my business. Who knows what will happen next? So that is the status of that investigation. So as of now, we continue the investigation, and anything can happen. If it himself was it also along the line, if the evidence points to me, the whole himself. So I'm not above the law. I'm also subject to that particular law. So let people that remain at ease, make them no worry about nothing. The second issue we I want to talk about is helicopter we can down at Mashure village, about 15 miles from Waterloo. On Saturday, the 5th of August, around 11:51 hours, one helicopter, registration number Z5-RWT, the type na AS350. It do one landing where they call precautionary landing, na that Mashure village, 15 miles from Waterloo. This helicopter, it belongs to one company where they call Sky Horse Aviation Company. We get the headquarters in Pretoria, South Africa. Now two people they fly this helicopter. One British, Richard Leach, and one South African, Nicholas Barman. Then two people also, they are certified pilots, certified by the South African Civil Aviation Authority. We'll get this speaking them. Of course, we don't do an investigation into all of this what I talk to. So the helicopter, then they use them for do what we call mineral exploration surveys with mining companies and environmental protection agencies in different parts of Africa, Europe, and Asia. This helicopter with then two pilots on board. They left South Africa, Pretoria specifically on the 28th of July. Then they go on an exploration exercise now Greenland. For come South Africa, for go Greenland, you have to pass through so many airspaces. Right there, what they do? They seek landing rights from all the airspaces where they go for fly. They also have the fix they will need for refuel because the helicopter is small. You need to take large volume of fuel we need for go very far. So it's like after every 4 hours, you need for countdown and refill. So you get to pass through the airspace of Botswana, Namibia, Angola, Gabon, Ghana, Liberia, Sierraleone. Then subsequently, if you go Gambia, Mauritania, the Canary Islands, then you end up in Greenland. Sierraleone, for example, if you get a landing permit, where they get agents, the how civil aviation they operate, you can be agents for take landing permit for flights where they can land at the country for refuel. Most times, and for just refuel, not for even sleep. If you go for sleep, the permit will specify as such. For this particular flight, they get the agent, Patrick Sorikama, waiting on number 8C County, Peru Lane, off Wilkinson Road. In an agent for this Sky Housing Aviation Company. The secure landing permit for this helicopter, where the landing permit number na LP/010-823-057. That's not the landing permit number. Dated the 1st of August 2023. And the person who signed this permit, Nawam Usman B. Jallo, is signed on behalf of the Director General Sierraleone Civil Aviation Authority. We investigate the pilot. The pilots, they say, at about 11:40 hours, if they fly, he left from Monrovia, they come to Freetown. Of course, the agents, they wait at the airport, and will not reach there by 12 o'clock for refuel and go. So 11:40, if they fly at 1,000 feet above sea level, they notice the helicopter vibrates some kind of way. It is so fearful. 9 them struggle, then put a candle at this Mashure village. Then put a candle, then call control tower, then alert them, say we will not reach this particular level. Then for locate them precise location by latitude and longitude, then transmit them to the control tower for telling them which are they specifically. The control tower, the security officer at the airport, Lawrence Conte, he called the police director of operations, he got that information. So together, we begin to look for this place. The operations man call the LDC Waterloo for hold on this place. Since now in community, now in the police area, he able reach there and he see them with man there. As they reach together, the ONS people they say they reach, the airport authority people, the civil aviation authority they say they reach there. Then conduct a search on this helicopter. They not see anything of police interest on this helicopter. We interview people will see where this helicopter is struggle for Kano. They tell me precisely, say, then see this helicopter, they will ensure they don't see the streaming for land, otherwise it will crash. As the land, they say go to farm and they watch out of curiosity. They left the watch, police they come in, civil aviation authority they come in, ONS people they come in, then together they conduct the search. But one thing we clear on that. All the people that we talk to, no say you see, then take box keep us. No talk say you see Motokaka, they can't box in Kerbo. Nobody no say you see boat camp, they can't come as opposed to what the hearing on social media. How they go left in the inside boat, speedboat, carbon atom, all of those concussions. So, but we get interviews so conduct on the spot. Nobody no say you see the tooth box. Nobody no say you see the tooth something pull, somebody can't do something. No. So that's how the thing happened. Then of course, Sierraleone Civil Airport Authority, they come with 2 certified engineers for their aircraft. They can do small thing on this helicopter. Then do ground run small. Then they go say, well, this one we can move up small. We don't go Lungi, but we left on Hastings. So they move on from that point. They grab one at Hastings. As we talk, so a back at the Sierraleone Armed Forces Air Force Base. The status now is that they don't fly in 2 engineers from South Africa for can fix the helicopter, fly continue for go on an assignment. This helicopter now the helicopter will do exploration. Some of you will not see them here before this time. I remember 2016, 2011, where they came one helicopter if you do similar assignment, you get big thing on the satellite dish. They fly all over the tongue, they do mineral exploration. So that is the status of the helicopter. The pilot and there, when the engineer come from South Africa, we all they go there with we own civil aviation expert them, engineer them, they go look up, they fix them, we check them. We have all the documents, the flight route, the landing permit, the man and certificate, copies of the certificates, and everything they need for flight. So that is the status of this investigation. So maybe that all and so forth.
Well, we get an accomplished communicator as the Inspector General of Police. Plenty thank you to the Inspector General of Police for very clear, concise updates. If anybody gets any question on this, I think say Family and House don't get the message clear. An investigation they go on, the security apparatus confident they not just disrupt this investigation, they get people in custody which supports them right now in the investigation, and they want to assure family now who say nothing only for report. The country in security and in safety, they are assured. We professional officials and they on top of the situation. As far as the plane we land is concerned, the information very simple. They don't conduct a thorough investigation. In fact, not supposed to say a plane will just come up from the sky will not be no what. We get records say that we don't really ask for land mass alone. And they don't also, in the abundance of caution, even though they know this, they don't go shake that plane, turn all thing over, check everything for make sure so we don't left no stone unturned. And they're professional they have, both from the security and the civil aviation authorities, and get confidence, say nothing on the with anybody need to worry about, and everything is safe. And now get the pleasure for welcome the youngest chief minister in the history of Sierra Leone, the how do you call her? Salon Parabang. Salon Parabang. The father of radical inclusion. What can I say? Well, so Macrio, I say, well, you don't set the bar on radical inclusion. So radical inclusion may not get this conversation about how Creole important. Obviously, as you know, a very busy man. We're really grateful that you're there. So we'll just say a few words. I mean, don't get a brief for say, but just set the scene and set the stage about how we're going to approach government communication. Looking at the priority of His Excellency, especially in this second term, but for him as Chief Minister in the first 100 days. So we'll just give you some quick highlights, and then we'll cancel this sister.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. I'm glad that you want to welcome we now for this press conference. Interestingly, yesterday, multiple people then tell me, say, hey, when they come with CBS and IG for cancer people, then that do nothing to that deal. But this is a different government. We IG and CBS, then we talk to people then, but wait till they happen. We don't need to talk them because we want to talk. We know say communication important in every part of governance. And we think government they do, the local get for do, una self as Campbell they get for help we for do that work there. And we know that we responsibility for communicate to una, responsibility for make una know what they do and how they do it, and so that una self go help we, and we will tell una what una need for do for help we for deliver for all man. As a government, I know so I don't everybody big five, and I don't study it on Sabian by heart. All my books Sabian by heart. Because the big five, they tell we about how we get for transform we country. Feed Salon, the meeting where we for come on, where we make a day, His Excellency in the meet with the Minister of Agriculture, with the deputy then for talk about the big five, but Feed Salon in particular, and just always not the strategy and within the plan. How they get for design and dandy now just come up and Feed Salon really important, and it very much links to human capital development. We have the second one, we talk about school feeding, all things interlinked, and this we approach who they go for national development, skills development. We have a young man there and young woman there waiting for land the appropriate skills. Because we learn the skills, like we go to the third one, we have employment. Where you get the skills, then you're able to do employment. This now not to just waiting government to do for entrepreneurship back, they find that employment there. And when you do employment, all like a public sector, public service delivery, only two they do, like now, well, body business or school business and public service delivery, public sector. So the revamping of the public sector, and all my way that we all responsibility because no matter what you do and whether you get a job or not, in the public sector, they work for you. We not able to get a country where they get development. And finally, underpinning all of that data, digital and infrastructure, we need to make sure seeing that they connect all them things that they work. Internet for the, lights for the, road for the, water for the, how they pay for the. I don't work out cash, so the mobile money for day, all things for day. And the importance for me we understand that the line, that development. So that's the big five. I can get quiz, and then school, but the big five. But really, the minister then, the ministry and the head of agency then get responsibility to communicate. We not compare our trade versus whatever, but we understand say we responsibility now for make many people they know how they go, whose side we come out, what we don't do today, whose policy pass now, parliament, whose policy pass by cabinet, what's now the guidelines with it, how Ministry of Finance they engage with revenue, because now we all responsibility. May not just be say, they put in all like private sector, they put in all like this, or for talk together. And then at the general vision, where His Excellency don't say, for make many countries go before, for really strengthening cohesion, for strengthening national development, we for stay connected with the issues, and when I get right to ask we, question them, but we what they do, and we said get right to respond. Our responsibility for respond and engage with the citizens. And then at the general direction, I don't know if you, okay. Thank you, I'm really glad here. I shall say, but could minister this na secret, no, they don't know it. But the ministries and the minister and therefore be part of the evaluation in the participation in the Ministry of Information, the press conference. So you don't begin past. Thank you.
You don't start with flying colors. Thank you very much, the Honorable Chief Minister. I understand, say, the Chief Minister need for run at some point, or in but the Deputy Minister of Finance go there for answer clarification questions from Finance. So the Minister self-appointed and gets another important engagement now. Before we open up to questions, we ask my sister Sally Adams, we are the President for Women's Forum, Salone, he gets a brief press release and he said, "One talk to the woman there, Salone, and why use this platform. We want for give an opportunity and then we'll open and we start this conversation."
Good afternoon, everyone, and this room. First of all, I want to say thanks to the minister and the team for where they lead Women's Forum Sierraleone and the National Women's Umbrella. Minister can talk on the press release and for talk to women outside there, especially the women the way Namakituma the way they don't feel aggrieved. But basically, I first of all talk about Women's Forum, just like 1 minute. Say Women's Forum and National Umbrella, where they formed in 1994. For make women, the women they work with the government, NGOs, they come together and for discuss on issues the way they affect women and that in Sierraleone. So basically, the Women's Forum is 29 years old. So we talk about the National Women's Umbrella, we are the mama. So anything what they say, what they see on social media or they read, where we know still very vulnerable women the way they outside there. If you politician, you know for do to them good or empower them, you know for use them for do bad acting. But before I say anything, I just want to give this press statement. Then I want to go viral because it's coming from Women's Forum Sierraleone. So women's press release from Women's Forum Sierraleone. Women's Forum Sierraleone, the national umbrella organization for women's groups in the country, is strictly concerned about videos and audios being run on social media in which some people are calling on certain market women and other women to stage a protest on Monday, the 14th August, 2023. And before I do this release, I call Auntie Marie Wakade because I'm the president of the market women. And market women, the part of Women's Forum Sierraleone. So if I can really remember the last August 10, now so we begin to see audios there, videos that they come and say, put the one that must translate. We undermine them. At the end of the day, we see them. And when anything happens like chaos, violence, against women and that, we the women of this country, that we suffer most. Yeah. Sometimes the man that give you one away they go, they let go in a house, and we go take care of them. So this time on, any information we get about women that have to come for them must stay. The Women's Forum Sierraleone, they quickly call meeting, discuss them, and see the way forward, and stop women. Because $10 for the woman in this country, yeah. We are talking about the big five change. Well, if you say, Makituma, then Abacha, Lonely, now they will take opportunity. Because they do business and feeding people and watch on the inside there. So as market women, they don't need for go and for the go demonstrate or people they want for use them. But this time when they talk about any possible one use them and they when we get hold of it, we still go begin them and the pot. Because none of them can use woman them because they're vulnerable, they don't get, but they use them as sheets for the mosquito and sleep. No. If we not say, okay, we want to empower the woman there, we will agree. But if we're going to use them as the mosquitoes, we're not going to agree on that. I can still continue for the press release. The thrust of the audios and videos is that the women should protest because of the removal of street traders from the central business district, which was Abacha Street, and even Lonely. Yeah, so we all want to see the country develop. They not good way they remove them, maybe they not be informed them, we don't know. But if state they don't remove them, they not get the right, or say they go demonstrate because they remove them. And if say they get a channel, go to the market women, they get an election. They for not pass to the report, market women, they part of women's forum, we for not come together and see them grievance in there. How say we for link with Ministry of Gender, then for still the way forward to the government. But they okay. So the Sierraleone Marketing Association is the registered member of the Women's Forum and is obliged by statute to channel its complaints and grievances to the umbrella body. That is started with the responsibility of seeking redress for their concerns or remediating the situation. We therefore appeal at the calls via audios and videos for protest by an affiliate body of the organization without informing the leadership about their concerns. It should also be noticed that the call for protest does not have the approval of the security forces and is seen as an attempt to encourage women to participate in an unlawful protest. As a law-abiding organization, we will repeat our associate bodies to always follow the due process and not indulge in illegal acts. For this reason, the Women's Forum Sierraleone wants to encourage the Sierraleone Market Women Association to channel their grievances to their leaders, who in turn will present the case to the Women's Forum for negotiations. As citizens of this country, we have the right to demonstrate, but we must obey the laws of the land and continue to maintain the peace we are all enjoying today. Finally, Women's Forum Sierraleone condemns all unlawful demonstrations by any group as it undermines our democracy and erodes the gains we have made as a country over the years. Protests are part of our democracy, but the law must upheld all times. As I say again, Women's Forum, until today, we don't begin to negotiate about peace. We be small netted for the disappointed. But the Women's Forum, when it comes to the money 1, 2, and 3, and if we get peace in our country, now Women's Forum, we let peace before election for the second area. We now we won't be the same that we go to that engagement before the second. So we don't try hard, even when it comes about the giving. Women's Forum, we do work in collaboration with the Ministry of Gender for ensure that the law they passed. So today, we as Women's Forum, we don't want to see some women they suffer or they die because I remember 2000 August 10, when I was they become, they be die, police they be die, journalists they be injured. So this time, I talk to me about your woman. Let me happy with this press conference. When I was talking to you, because the woman outside they are not so all man was speaking English, and this thing where they go on so now starting groups of women we know the part of market women, because market women then women know where they on a Women's Forum, they're still gonna market themselves. Then when they go create all this kind of thing where they want to use them, now the one that are split there, the one that not long the run about, when not there's a market. So me market women outside there, me and the talk to them. If anything they will not go wrong with you, to one development. What will happen last year? We don't tell them family will not able getting with them. We don't have to go back into that again. So I mean, I appeal any market women have grievance. If you never forget to Auntie Marie,